everybody. We're laughing because we have Ryan Steele, one of the conference chairs, who's running away from us right now. He's just gonna say hi. Every time we go live from ADRP, he crosses past and we try to pull him in. But welcome everybody. I'm here with Kalyan, CEO of Almabase.
I'm so honored to be on your LinkedIn Live.
Cut it out. Cut it out. This is good. We've been having a ton of fun. We've been meeting donor relations professionals. For the most part, some people with higher responsibilities over the whole advancement shop, right? And what other, mostly education? Mostly education, or who have we met at the conference?
Yeah, it's been mostly education institutions. Some, hospitals were associated with universities.
Mm-hmm.
Some non-profits as well, a couple of them. But mostly education institutions. Maybe they just know that we work with education, so that's why they come here.
Yeah, it's we self-select who comes to talk with us. Yeah. But this is really interesting. So for everybody who's here, and I know, when I was a practicing fundraiser, it was horrible to see those pictures of conferences and missing out on the content. So I'm going to actually mention some of the sessions I was at today, which was really interesting. Oh, and I'm seeing somebody that we're going to need to introduce you to, Angela Altimore, the president of ADRP. She just passed over the baton to the new president, so I'm going to step up for a moment. But before that, this session was really good. Building a better story, how to create and share better stories to connect with more diverse audiences, from Bronwyn Butler. So what she shared is a framework for value-based communications, and with kind of emphasizing a lot of social justice issues and themes and things like that. So that was really helpful.
What's maybe the one actionable? Do you remember what was the most actionable thing for you if you were sort of sending out communications from that session?
Well, I think it was having a kind of, having your communications reflect a lot of those principles like DEI, having those values kind of underline what you do. Sometimes we just put communications out because we kind of have to. We have to put out a campaign announcement. Yeah. But thinking, how is this reflecting our values? Yeah. I thought that was a very, general takeaway.
That's
so
awesome.
That's really great.
What other sessions were interesting today?
So I'm a big fan of Debbie Myers, who received an award at the ceremony a little while ago. And she did another session today, stewardship writing, the 5 W's and an H. Please don't ask me, Kalyan, what the 5 W's are.
This is not a quiz.
Oh my goodness, for everybody that's here. But what she writes a lot, is she has this great exercise, and she starts out with a very typical fundraising kind of thank you for your gift of blah to support the campaign of our wonderful campaign and our research. Yeah. And she kind of turns that into thank you for helping people impacted by homelessness. So she shows the evolution of how people are not really giving to a place or to a campaign. Who cares about it, the campaign? They want to make a change in the world.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. So
shout out to Debbie Myers.
Yeah, totally. She was here. Maybe she comes by.
Yeah.
It's Kalyan, do you feel comfortable? Maybe I'm going to ask you a question.
Sure.
And then I'm going to scoot over really quickly and try to get somebody to talk to us.
Okay.
This is candid camera. So for everybody who's doubting whether this is pre-staged, this is actually the conference. We're here right now. This is the ADRP table. I'd like to say hi. Hi, Scott. Scott, I know this is impromptu, would you be comfortable mentioning ADRP, volunteering opportunities?
This is a LinkedIn Live.
We're live on LinkedIn. Hello, everybody.
You can come take this seat if you're open to it.
So we're live on LinkedIn. National Park Foundation. Amazing. Jamie.
Jamie Keller.
Yeah. Would you be comfortable? Are you an ADRP volunteer?
I'm on the board.
Oh, you're on the board. Fantastic. Would you be comfortable explaining to everybody what your duties are on the board, your purview? So we're going to find somebody.
Yeah.
Can you help us find somebody? I saw Angela Altimore a while ago.
Our president for a little bit longer.
Yeah. So everybody, thanks for your patience. We're finding the right experts to tell you all about ADRP and what it's so much fun.
I can talk about volunteering.
Yeah,
Sure.
That's it.
I think that'd be
Yeah.
great.
We should come comfortable. Okay.
Oh, God, I hate being on camera.
Okay, just pretend. Okay, everybody, this is totally impromptu. He didn't put on his makeup. I didn't either. Welcome. So, Scott, you're with the National Park Foundation.
Yes, I am a Senior Director of Donor Relations at National Park Foundation.
Oh my goodness, do you know Ivan Alekin?
Yeah,
Okay, I worked with him.
All right.
I have the greatest admiration for him.
yeah,
How
he's
cool.
on my team.
I can't believe this. This is amazing. Can
Small
I
world.
vicariously shake his
Right
hand
on,
through you?
right on.
That's so cool. So
We didn't know that.
No, this was not planned. We promise. So ADRP.
Yeah.
Can you kind of share with our community here what your role is, and maybe why you value and why you volunteer with this
Yeah.
organization?
So I've been with ADRP for almost a decade, and I get so much out of ADRP. There's the camera. I should look up there, huh?
I don't know if this has to be them.
It's a great collection of practitioners who know what they're doing and love to share ideas and love to talk about what they do. So that's the main reason that I have stayed with ADRP for so long.
Mhm.
I get so much. And as I was getting more, I wanted to give back. So I started volunteering with ADRP,
Amazing.
and I'm currently on the board, and I love it. It's great. It's just really rewarding for me personally, but I also get to bring my expertise and my time to the table to talk about the work that we do to better the organization for our members.
That's well, okay, and then we're on the vendor side here, and I was a
Yeah.
fundraiser until recently. Thank you, really,
Yeah,
honestly,
absolutely.
this is so great. And please send warmest regards to Ivan, to Jamie. Jamie's like one of the best bosses I've had.
All right.
And it's a huge pleasure.
Sounds good. Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot. If you find anybody from ADRP, just tell them to run away because we might get
Okay.
them to stop here.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Take care.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, we hope you enjoyed that. We're going to welcome Kalyan back
Yes. That was a good conversation.
in this. Isn't it amazing? I mean, ADRP is, you said the superheroes of fundraising, no?
Yeah,
In
the
LinkedIn
silent
post.
superheroes.
Yeah, and I hear that so much. Like it may be that I don't directly interface
Yeah.
with donors, or if I do, it's kind of in a different capacity than the fundraising, so you don't get all the glory.
Yeah.
But I think it's like what we do, right? With
Yeah.
focusing on engagement. I mean, it's so very clearly linked to the outcome, not the exact last touch before you ask. No.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think with any sort of team working towards an outcome,
Mhm.
there are people that are front facing,
Yeah.
but then there's so many people behind the scenes that enable them to do their job.
Yeah.
Even just like as an example, my job,
Exactly.
right? Like I get to show up here
Exactly.
and talk about like what we do as a company,
Uh-huh.
but it's really all the people, behind the scenes that do so much of the work,
Yeah.
and I'm just the face communicating that message.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're
Totally.
the true like silent superheroes.
Silent
in every
superheroes. We had,
company.
and so okay. One of the reasons I joined Alma Base was exactly because it's a team that's really obsessed about helping nonprofits engage their constituents, right? And we had a team member, Manashi,
Yeah.
who was up until 4 a.m. in her time. She's in India, just to support us in a LinkedIn Live that we did.
Shout
yesterday.
out to Manshi.
I mean, thank you. This is absolutely beautiful. So let's continue with the sessions that we had today. There was a very good workshop on digital engagement.
Okay. What
Um,
was the learning from that? I'm really curious.
Well, that's a good question. There were something I did like about this was from the We Are for Good team.
Yeah.
Was that focus on going deep rather than superficially with everybody. Okay, and I think again this kind of relates back to Alma Base, where you can do one blast to everybody, always the same one, without distinguishing if somebody's opening your emails or not, and they're all like it's like where the gold is in those really they call them rabid fans. Those people who are really crazy about you.
Yeah.
And if you can identify them,
Yeah.
it's that's half the battle, really.
Yeah.
So
That's a great point. And I think a lot of institutions, again, we've had some of these conversations before, but some at the conference as well. Like being able to understand who your rabid fans are
exactly
is
There
a
you go.
lot more than just FaceTime. A lot of people show up and like those could be your rabid fans, but there's also people potentially silently engaging with you in so many different ways and helping you out.
Yeah,
They
lurkers.
just may, yeah, and
I was
they
in
just may
another-
not have
another
as much
session.
face time.
Yeah, Kimberly Arntz
Yeah.
was talking about lurkers.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. And so how, what are the best ways to tell who these people are?
Yeah.
I mean, what are your learnings? And of course, you have so tremendous experience in the tech world, right? And digitally, it just gives you so much information.
Yeah. I think, I probably sound like a broken record here, but, I think this is very relevant. Most institutions do a very poor job of actually using data to be able to identify their fans.
Mm-hmm.
You know
It's
what I
hard,
mean?
but I mean,
it's hard.
We know for everybody, but
Exactly.
we're trying to help.
Exactly. And I think being intentional about it, saying, hey, like we have fans beyond the people that we meet on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
We have to identify them. We have to thank them. We have to encourage them. We have to, celebrate them. I think has to be intentional.
Mm-hmm.
There's tools available out there, whether it's Almabase or not, to be able to do that. But I think like being intentional about that is really critical. Right? Can I ask you a question?
Anytime.
I mean, this is just out of curiosity, right? So, Louis, I mean, most people who are watching this obviously know that you've been in higher ed for a long time. You've been a community builder. You've built several communities. You've done fundraising. You've done everything. A lot of different things in higher ed.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're working with Almabase. Like you're doing so many different things at Almabase, which we love. But now that your perspective has changed over the last 6 months, or new perspectives have been gained over the last 6 months, being on the other side of the world, serving hundreds of universities as opposed to working at a university.
Yeah.
What have been some new learnings for you over the last 6 months, including this conference? Anything top of mind for you?
So something that does come to mind is how it's a very similar problem that lots of nonprofits have, and it's very much okay. The tools are important to a certain extent, but most often the bigger problem is kind of silos and communication among teams, and just not thinking of things like what you're saying. So you can measure this, and you probably need to be measuring it so you can have a more segmented approach. And very often, like, there's kind of a lazy thinking, and I did this too, right? Where you think, segmentation, and you segment by something that maybe was important to people 20, 30 years ago, like whether they sang in the choir. But they're telling you right now that, certain emails interest them and certain activities don't. And, we should be responsive to that, or, try to. So, how it's kind of not necessarily a failure of the technology or not having the data, but of being able to think differently. I don't know. That is striking me.
I think that's very interesting. Yeah, and I think people often sort of talk about change being slow in higher education. But I think it's true broadly in any industry. I think change is hard, and we we understand that as even as someone like providing technology to be able to say here's the new way to do it, right? But I think one of the things that again I think universities don't realize, and probably now that you've been on this side for a few months have realized, is when we're selling software as well into universities, whether it's for donor relations professionals or alumni relations fundraising, while it may appear that, okay, we have our software and we're just going to push it down your throat, whether you like it or not, we're actually very responsive to, we have a new guest. We're very responsive
Finish
to,
your thought. We'll introduce her.
To institutions coming to us and saying, here's what we want to do, even if that isn't fully enabled with a product like ours right now, we're still listening and we're still improving all the time, to be able to cater the needs. And we're in this business only to be able to cater to our customers' needs.
Yes,
right?
and I can vouch for that. I mean, the Almabase team has an internal Slack. We're all over the world, and it's on fire. So, I mean, I don't want to say that everything is possible, but every request is very seriously considered. And if it possibly can be accommodated, it is. And I thought that was very special. I've worked, in my career with lots of different organizations, and a lot of the time it was like, no, and that doesn't really happen. So
I think it's a good time to introduce our new guest.
Okay, so for your viewing pleasure, we have Jessica Ford. She's a senior account executive at Blackbaud. I hope I got your title right.
Almost.
Okay.
Close enough.
Okay. She's the queen and the master of everything. Again, no. Please tell us your title. Introduce yourself.
I'm actually senior principal account manager.
Wonderful.
You got close.
Not so good, but thank you for being here with us. We're very excited to have you, and the reason you're so close to us is that we have a deep strategic partnership with Blackbaud,
Yes.
and maybe you want to tell people about it a little bit.
Very excited. So with Almabase, we now have truly the ability to meet all the needs of our clients. The online strategic capabilities that Almabase can offer with the direct integration to the Razor's Edge NXT is going to give everybody best a platform for anything alumni or fundraising based.
Wonderful. So what does that mean for people who have a Blackbaud already and that are looking for this type of engagement platform, like you said?
So for Razor's Edge clients, there's a lot of functionality built into the Razor's Edge. But for especially higher education or K-12, they have more complex especially events needs that are not quite built into the NXT platform.
Very cool.
So really the event platform is probably, I would say, the best platform I've seen, and that includes Eventbrite and Cvent, any of the event platforms. And the fact that it integrates into the Razor's Edge NXT is a huge win. We're also starting to see, again, an uptick of alumni communities. Alumni participation has been down over the past years. 10 years ago, it was all about the community. Then, 5 years ago, everybody's like, oh, we don't need communities. We got Facebook, we got LinkedIn, and they realized it did not help them at the institution to connect with their alumni. And so now we're back to, alumni participation down. We need an alumni engagement platform. And engagement is not just make a donation and go on your merry way. It is, event attending, mentoring, it's donations, it is building that relationship with your alumni. And I think the Almabase platform is really going to be able to expand on what our clients need.
This is amazing. I mean, we're so pleased, we're so honored. Thank you, Jessica. You have just a little bit of experience in the sector, right? Would you? I mean, because when you say that you've seen every single platform, I think that merits some qualification.
I've been with Blackbaud for almost 26 years. So when I started with them a long time ago, before you were born,
I was born.
People were using, Razor's Edge for DOS, and obviously. The world evolves. People are looking for, more interaction with their donors, with their alumni, and it basically the Razor's Edge gives you the best of breed platform for anything fundraising related.
My
all the
favorite
predictive modeling, the capability to know who you have to go after, because most of our clients have seen a reduction in staffing. I talk to so many clients that they have, 5 positions open, 6 positions open, but there's more competition for money. There's less people to do it with. So we need to have the tools like the Razor's Edge and Almabase to help our clients meet those goals.
I say efficiently and joyously, which is something, it's not only about ticking all the check boxes, but really kind of, I mean, I might be kind of a nerd. I know you are too. But we really, when we're talking about this, it's because we really enjoy the platforms and going in there.
It really makes a difference for the fundraising organizations to have solutions like that out there.
Can I share an anecdote of what you and Kalyan were earlier working on? Okay, so I turn around, I'm doing my, I don't know, whatever people do when they're wasting time, Facebook and my social media, and I turn around and they're like deep into Blackbaud and Almabase trying to create some type of connection there with a JavaScript code, and Kalyan is texting his team, and they're all into the settings. I mean, this is like true passion. Because I guess the image is we're on the vendor side we just kind of care about what we care, but boy, just the passion and how the depth you go into.
We're trying to solve problems.
There you go.
And we're trying to solve problems that some of our clients don't even know are problems for them yet. So we want to make sure that
that's how you can help too, right?
Right. That's how we can anticipate the needs that are up and coming. And if I now go to Facebook, and I may have talked to you about, Walmart on my Facebook page, and now I'm going to have a Walmart ad. So Facebook has become so commercial, and
Yeah.
and LinkedIn, it's not really the way for alumni and their alma mater to connect. So while maybe not everybody realizes yet, we're going back to having a community
Yeah.
where you connect with your peers,
Yep.
your fellow alumni,
In a
with
safe
your institution
environment.
in a safe environment, and that's with all the breaches that have been happening on social media,
Yeah.
and all the other things that are happening there.
Well, and the people want to have conversations in
Right.
a private, secure environment. I mean, I think
Exactly.
it's as simple as that.
I mean, you don't want to put out there that it's like the mentoring. You don't want to put out, "Hey, I'm looking for a mentor."
Yeah,
Um,
you
and-
can't do that in social media.
And especially, smaller institutions that don't have a mentoring department, because they're smaller, and especially if you look at the HBCUs, where mentoring is huge.
Yeah.
They tend to have a smaller staff. They're not the Harvards and the Yales.
Yeah.
So having a
It's like catch-22,
platform that
exactly.
can connect mentors to alumni and students is huge, because it
Uh-huh.
doesn't require a whole staff, and
Yeah.
most people just don't have staff capabilities.
Yeah, that's totally true. And I've learned this in the last few weeks. I just got on there, and Almabase is a collection of modules. They call them Lego blocks, and you can start combining them in different ways. I started a spreadsheet, okay, and we're up to 73 different programs, really full-fledged programs that you could run, all the way from a poll and a kind of a contest for to choose a mascot,
Right.
to a mentorship program,
Right.
or an alumni board
Well,
director.
and that's
or
one
just
thing I
on and
really
on and
love
on.
about Almabase. We were talking to Kayam, and like, "Hey, we could really use this, because I think our clients would really benefit from this." And he's like,
You're on next.
it's like, okay, let's get on it.
Uh-huh.
It's like, no, oh yeah, we'll make a note of that, and we'll get to it at some point in time. I mean, it's the
Yeah.
fact he's like, okay, let me see what we can do. So
Yeah, and do it.
Right. So
It's so empowering. And you were talking about those smaller teams, and burnout is a real thing in the
Right.
nonprofit sector.
yes,
And that's where I always come back to the joyous piece, right?
Right.
It's really empowering to be able to think of something and relatively quickly and with support be able
Exactly.
to put it in practice. So
Right.
hopefully we can help people do that.
absolutely.
Thanks so much, Jessica. How do people contact you if they have a question or
Uh,
a Blackbaud related or of any type?
They can contact Blackbaud, for those people that already have, our Blackbaud customers. They can contact their account manager.
Awesome.
They can go to the Almabase website. They can go to the Blackbaud website,
Yeah.
and if they're not clients of either, because we'll take care of them.
Exactly. And we'll refer you to the right person.
Exactly.
And this has been absolutely great. I'm looking for somebody who keeps running away. So, you know what we're going to do? I'm going to thank you, and we're going to step away. We're going to leave this open for a second while I
All
go
right.
hunt for our next interview
Fantastic.
participant.
Thank you, Louis.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. We'll be right back. Well, this has been absolutely great. We're very grateful to have you with us. If you ever have a chance to go to the ADRP conference, we very much encourage you to do that. I know it's a little noisy in the background, and if you have any questions, feel free to put them in this LinkedIn event, or send them our way. Take care. Bye-bye.